Oh, he is just on the call. Hello, Mike. We're going to work on bringing you in. Good thing I was saying good things about you. Let me get Aubrey back in here to get you on as a panelist. Mike is right there. So as she's doing that, the idea this morning was to talk a little bit about estate planning, but you guys know that there are multiple estate planning videos in our resource, which is at rocksolidlaw.com/video and or forward, I don't know. There's only one slash, I think, these days. So video. There he is. Hey, Mike, welcome.
I apologize for being late, John. I was on a task force call with the elder law section of the Florida Bar and the Academy of Florida Elder Law Attorneys. And it first time in probably 6 years it went over.
Well, we'll be the first to hear about what exciting new news there is from the elder law section, right?
You bet. And there is some.
Yeah, good. So guys, meet Mike. Glad you're here with us, buddy, because I didn't know what I was going to talk about for this section without you. As I was saying, Mike and I first met back in the 80s. So we have been practicing law for a good long time between the two of us. So broadly, I'm going to just talk for a quick minute about estate planning, and then I'm going to ask Mike a couple of what I hope are really softball questions, Mike, about your specific area of specialty, and then hit the burning question that I think a lot of people are interested in. I was saying that we reconnected when you came to see the seminar that Casey and I put on, which is awesome, and led to us getting back together and sharing a meal and hatching the idea to have this session this morning. So guys, in the field of law, of course, there are many, many specialties from, domestic to personal injury to criminal. And all of us specializes in one area or the other. Those of you that have been on these before know we do business law with entrepreneurs. And we also love doing real estate closings. Obviously, it's a slow market right now, so that ebbs and flows. But the majority of our practice is actually about estate planning. Now, even within estate planning, there are specialists. I know people who work primarily on adoptions or guardianships, or there are people that really work with low-income families to try to help them navigate the probate process. And again, next month, I'm going to talk about probate a little bit. But one of the areas, especially as I now have, as I've told people, my Medicare card, that I get to talk to people more and more about is the specialty of elder law. And as Mike just said, he works statewide with the Florida Bar on the elder law committee, which I've heard Mike called the Kumbaya Committee of the Florida Bar. I think that's where the nicest people practice law. And since I don't, I'm giving Mike a compliment. And within elder law, there's some specific areas that those guys work in more often than those of us that are generalists. So I'm out in Ponte Vedra and I'm a generalist. Mike is in Riverside and he does both estate planning and with an emphasis on elder law. So I really wanted him to come and talk to you guys because I know that he knows the answer to some questions that I don't. So Mike, I told him also again before you jumped on that there is a chat bar. We've been having some silliness on there already, but at the end, we'll check over there. And if anybody has a specific question that they want to get answered, they can put on that chat bar before we get off. On the flip side, guys, if there's something that is sensitive to you that you don't really want to share on the interweb, feel free to get it to me at questions, that's a plural word, questions with an S, at rocksolidlaw.com. If it's a question for Mike, I'll let him tell you what to do, or you can get it to me and I will absolutely get it to him. People always say, but why do you work with your competitors? We're not competitors. We're all out there to serve the community in the best way possible through the areas that we know best. I've said it often, my quest is to get families to plan, because the worst thing is when somebody doesn't and we have to pick up the pieces afterward. And within that quest, when I have issues that I don't know or not my specialty. I have people like Mike that even dresses down further than I am, by the way, I noticed, sir, who is a specialist in areas like elder law. So, Mike, let's first start with please introduce yourself to the folks that are on the call with us and tell us what makes elder law a specialty within the greater estate planning field.
Thank you very much, John. And there's a couple things I want to emphasize. John and I work well together. That's why I listen to his music and he puts up with me. But I'm not very technologically advanced. So if there are chats, I'm not sure I get them. I'll look, but I'm not sure
Okay.
I'm getting them because I just looked and I didn't see any chatter. So that means that maybe they'll come on later. But if you have questions, if somebody can alert me, I will stop whatever we're talking about and answer those questions. Because
I'll
that's
be the alert person.
Thank you. Thank you, John. I'm excited to be here. John, thank you for putting this together. Let me just say, Medicaid is one of those areas that there's so many misconceptions. And so people want to have several questions. But one of the things is, how does that relate to estate planning? What do elder law attorneys do? And what I find where our niche is estate planners provide a great service. And you absolutely need them, or otherwise you're going to end up in probate or guardianship. You could end up with unintended beneficiaries. But elder law, we focus primarily on government benefits for the elderly and the disabled. And so it is a narrow niche. And because it's narrow, the dabblers really don't do well. They can actually mislead you. You actually have to be in the system in order to keep up with the changes in the laws and the procedures and the administration. And so if you're thinking about long-term care planning, in addition to your estate planner, you may have a consultation just on the long-term care way we can help protect assets and direct you so that you can get on government benefits. And so again, I'm going to open it up to any questions, but let me just start. One of the things I see in my practice, and I've been doing this for really a long time, uh, way too long. John and I met when I think I was with the IRS. I was a tax trial attorney. And then I went after 4 years into private practice, and that's where John and I did a lot of bankruptcies together, a lot of collections together. And he was truly a mentor to me. And so I always appreciated that, John. And then after about 7 years of representing primarily taxpayers and banks, I went in and I taught law school for about 12 years. And my law school teaching, it included property and tax, but it was primarily elder law. And so for 12 years, I taught and published and practiced in elder law. And then in 2008, I came and started this firm. And that's what we do exclusively as a whole. So a lot of people ask me, do I even need Medicaid? I've heard so many things about Medicaid. So let me give you a couple principles unless you have questions. And I can get into where the rubber hits the road very easily. But the reason that you might consider it is because Medicaid can help pay for expensive long-term care that if you plan correctly, you can subsidize so your quality of care and your quality of life is better. And that's really what it's all about. It's a very benevolent statute. And that's why I think it's the kumbaya of the sections, is because this law is really there to help people pay for expensive long-term care. And I'm primarily considering nursing home. And when I say nursing home, we're talking in Northeast Florida between $9,000 and $15,000 a month. And we've had clients in their 80s who, after about a year and a half or more, I guess more, they have spent over $1.5 to $2 million in cash. Now think about if you could use Medicaid to help subsidize that, and then use that cash to help you get a private room, or use that cash to help pay for things that Medicaid won't pay for. like maybe an additional attendant in the nursing home that's kind of your personal aid. If you have planned well and you have set aside these resources, nobody wants to be in a nursing home. I've never had a client come and say, Mike, I want to go to a nursing home. And if you're there, the way you can make it a better experience, or at least a survivable experience, is if you have some assets that you can subsidize your care with so you get a better quality of care. And that's really what Medicaid's all about. People say, well, Mike, I've been in these nursing homes that accept Medicaid and I won't put my dog there. Now, let me just say, nursing homes, they run the gamut. There's the ghettos and then there's the Taj Mahals, and they run the gamut. But the reality is no matter which nursing home I've been in, this is my personal experience. I have found that nursing homes need Medicaid dollars to survive. So they're going to have a certain amount of beds set aside for Medicaid. Then they're going to have a certain amount of beds for private pay. Now, when you walk in through that front door, what my experience has been is there's not a Medicaid wing that has no windows and a light bulb hanging out of the ceiling. You can have two people to a room, and one will be on Medicaid and one will be private pay. And the person on private pay is paying out of their pocket. The person on Medicaid is getting subsidized. And now maybe if they've planned ahead, they have some resources to help them have a better quality of life. So I haven't personally experienced, and I'm sure some of you have, maybe it's just the wrong nursing home altogether, but I haven't seen our Medicaid patients singled out as a whole to be given less services. That would take a lot of work by the nursing home to figure out who gets the mints on the pillow and who doesn't. Another thing I've observed is when you're paying $9,000 to $15,000 a month, let me just say, I think you should get mints on your pillows. I think you should get daily baths. I think you should get clean sheets every day, and it doesn't happen. In my opinion, and again, this is just Mike Jorgensen speaking, you get lousy service for what you're paying for. They will keep you alive and they'll give you the medical care that you need to sustain you, but the service is not a concierge service from a hotel. And if you paid a hotel that amount of money, they're going to be doing whatever they could to get you to stay. Nursing homes, they know that you need them, they serve a function, and so they will basically just give you the bare necessities. So if you can subsidize it, then you should plan. All right. That's kind of my overview of why Medicaid can be important. If there's no questions right now, then let me go on to say, there's about 13 different types of Medicaid in Florida. And people go, what? I had no idea. Well, the Medicaid that we primarily deal with is nursing home Medicaid. It used to be called Institutional Care Program Medicaid, or ICP. They have a long name with a statewide long-term management. And so it's an acronym of about 9 letters. I just still call it the ICP program, but I'm outdated. But the fact is you have nursing home Medicaid. And then the next kind of Medicaid we deal with a lot is what's called home and community-based waiver. And home and community-based waivers usually help fund care at home to a point, or care in assisted living facilities if the assisted living facility even accepts it. Because in most cases, the assisted living facility isn't getting more money. They're just, the state of Florida is providing more services, and the assisted living facility is saying, well, we provide those services already. So they may not even take what I call the waiver. The home and community-based services, we call the waiver. And a lot of places don't even carry the waiver or use it. But if they do accept it, it's not going to fully pay for in-home care. It's not going to fully pay for assisted living. Now, Assisted living is different than a nursing home. Nursing home is like a hospital. It's a medical model. Assisted living offers a lesser quantity of care, uh, less than less than skilled nursing in the nursing home. So if you're on the assisted living facility side, which is where we put a lot of our memory care unit people, or you're getting services at home, I tell my clients there's some government benefits available, but not much. So you're going to primarily pay for it out of pocket. And the other difference between the ICP program and the waiver program is with ICP, you go into rehab, you're going to stay in the nursing home, and I hear this all of the time. I get a call. I need your help today. Well, why do you need my help today? Because the nursing home is going to discharge my mom today if we don't do something. And I kick back and say, well, actually, we got a little bit of time, but here's why you get that message is Medicare has 20 free days, no co-pays, no deductibles. And so somebody goes into rehab or they go into the nursing home on Medicare days. Then after day 21, they start getting co-pays and deductibles, and those can get hefty. Now, personally, John, I'm going to kind of date me. I went on Medicare a year ago, and so when I went on Medicare, I didn't go on the Advantage plan. That's one way to go. I went traditional A, B, and D Medicare. And I purchased a Medigap policy or a supplemental policy. And that helps pay for my deductibles and my copays. Now, if you are retired military and you have TRICARE for life, you probably don't need that supplemental policy because if you check with your organization, I think the veterans usually pay the deductibles and the copays. And so that's one of the benefits we give our service people is that you may not need the Medigap policy. But days 21 through 90 or up to maybe 105 days, those days there are copays and there are deductibles. And so the nursing home, I don't know why they do this. You think that when they admit you, they would get your insurance cards, and they may, but then they may ignore them because come day 18, they call up the caregiver and say, we're discharging mom in 2 days. She's out of Medicare days. Well, if mom has a Medigap policy, she still is going to be able to stay in that nursing home. You sometimes just have to tell the administrator, mom's got United Healthcare. She's got it through AARP or whatever. And that may be enough to buy you some more time. But there will come a day where if you have not applied for Medicaid, you are private pay. And the nursing homes are going to say, we don't want to be stuck with a $9,000 to $15,000 bill. Where is your Medicaid? And that's when we jump through hoops to get you on Medicaid. There's no wait list if you go on nursing home Medicaid. And what happens is when you file the application, it's retroactive to the day that you apply. So it may take us 6 to 10 or 12 months to get the Medicaid, but it'll be applied back to the month that we filed. And so that's when they're telling you you have to leave. And if you tell them, well, I got a Medigap policy, if you have, that might buy you some more time. Or then you retain somebody like us, an elder law attorney who knows what they're doing, to apply for Medicaid for you. And then we stay in communications with the nursing home, and they know that you are what's called Medicaid pending. And then they will, if they don't have a bed for you, they can often, if you ask the administrators, can you help us find a Medicaid bed for mom? In the industry, they may be willing to help you. Now, here's the thing, is when you come to consult with us, one of the things we start recommending immediately is go visit some of the, if it looks like they're going to stay in a nursing home, and if it looks like the place where they're at now cannot take them as a Medicaid patient. You may want to go do some research. You may want to go and find the nursing homes close to you. That seems to be one of the parameters. And the reason why is because if you're going to go visit mom or dad, you don't want to have to travel an hour and a half away. So you're going to want to find those nursing homes that are close to you. Now in Jacksonville, quite frankly, there's nursing homes all over, but there's quite a few nursing homes and assisted living facilities off Old St. Augustine Road. So, but there are areas, they have nursing homes everywhere. So once you have been told you have to move or apply for Medicaid, then what happens is the doctor or the medical staff fills out what's called a 3008, and that's a medical form. And if the doctor opines that you have an impairment with 2 of your 6 activities of daily living, then you're eligible for skilled care. And you get skilled care in a nursing home. If you don't have an impairment of those 2 activities of daily living, then you might be a candidate for assisted living care. I want to jump base now because you can get skilled care at home. You pay for it. You can get skilled care in nursing homes, get Medicaid pay for it. You can get quite a bit of care in assisted living and especially in memory care units. And sometimes the facilities accept Medicaid, sometimes they don't, and that's the waiver. If they don't accept it, then you're going to be paying out of pocket. And there's really nice ones. I mean, quite frankly, I don't know about you, John. I'm thinking I'm almost ready to go to one. I don't have to do my own lawn. I don't have to do my laundry. They cook for me. And some of them are like resorts. They're very nice. Those are going to cost you more. If you're looking for care, you don't need to go to one of the Taj Mahals. And if you can use Medicaid or possibly some veterans benefits to help supplement that care, you should. Now, some of you say, well, how do I pay for long-term care? There's really only 3 ways. Out of pocket is one way, long-term care insurance, or maybe some Medicaid and veterans benefits. Those are the 3 ways. So, you know, we know people who pay out of pocket, and that's fine. Okay, so I see that we got a chat, and I'll address it in just a second. When you're on,
Okay, you can see it good.
yeah, I think so. Let me see if I can pull it up. Now here's where I date myself, and I'll see if I can pull that up.
He had to jump off, so that's okay.
Okay.
But we will be able to. I think they're going to need more information and be back in touch, is what he said. So that's great. Hey, Mike. A lot of people are used to these only taking a half an hour. We'll stay on a few more minutes, but I know people ask me all the time, I don't want to lose my house, or I don't want to lose mom's house to the system. So that might be something that if you could address, people would be very interested in it.
Thank you, John. Thanks for that direction. Yep. There are certain assets that Florida Medicaid is not going to count against you. One is your homestead in Florida. Now, if you move from Georgia, which a lot of our clients do, they keep their homestead in Georgia. And Florida has what's called reciprocity. So where you would not keep your home in Georgia and go on Medicaid, you can keep your home in Georgia if you go on Florida Medicaid because of this reciprocity. So as long as you have a ladybird deed or an enhanced life estate deed on your home, you're not going to have a Medicaid problem in most cases. Now, when you get into these $1 million homes, we might have to do some finagling, but even as a whole, we can avoid it. You will not lose your home.
Okay, that should give some comfort to people on the call. Hey, we do have a question. Let's see. My 90-year-old mother recently fell. She's spending the next 2 weeks in a rehab facility. After her release back to her home, she lives alone. She will need 24/7 care for 4 to 6 weeks. That type of care can be expensive. My wife is an RN. Lucky you, Glenn. Oops, I guess that's on the chat, so I could say your name. I have an LLC. My father, who is deceased served honorably in World War II. My mom has Medicare. Could my wife be hired / reimbursed through Medicare or Medicaid to care for my mother?
Great question. Let me just say the short answer is if your mom was eligible for some veterans benefits, and as long as her daughter is providing what are called the activities of daily living, the veterans may pay her some money to help mom at home. Medicaid doesn't usually give you money. Medicaid tends to give you services. So where this really comes in good is daughter may need some respite care. Daughter who is caring for mom and not getting paid the $32 an hour, which is the average cost of home care. If daughter's providing those services, then she gets respite care. So when Medicaid comes in for 3 or 4 hours a day, that's when the daughter takes care of herself. And this is really important. Our adult caregivers, and community hospice gave me this statistic, 80% of our adult caregivers die before the people they're caring for do. That's because our adult caregivers are not taking care of themselves. This is where the waiver can be extremely helpful so that you can go do your banking, you can do your laundry, you can do the things that you need to do to take care of yourself, whether it's exercise or whatever. But the caregiver should be taking that time and using it to benefit themselves.
I've got another one here. I've seen a lot of clients come in and they have done ladybird deeds themselves to protect the home. If this is an exempt asset in Florida, what purpose does that really serve?
Thank you. You know, I tend to be I try to avoid issues. So I get a little over conservative. Sometimes I get a little over aggressive. The reason we do the ladybird deeds is you're right. If Florida doesn't take your home, if Florida does take your home, though, it's going to do it in probate. A ladybird deed avoids probate. So if you want that extra level of assurance, and here's why. We've seen this. Mom has a ladybird deed to son, and if not to son, then to cousin. Okay. Son dies. Now cousin's going to get the home. That's not protected homestead under our statutes because cousin's not an heir. So Medicaid, now mom's in probate, Medicaid will seek the house because it didn't maintain its homestead status. And that's why we always do the ladybird deed. It's a cheap fix. It's prevention. Is it ever going to happen? Rarely. But if it does happen, you're talking big dollars.
Agreed. And guys, even though homestead is not part of a probate estate, the judge has to determine that it's homestead. So you've got to file the probate to get that determination. So really, if you don't do something like a ladybird, and of course there are trusts and there are other types of deeds that you can consider, but the ladybird is, as Mike said, an inexpensive fix. Then that asset is going to go to probate, and in some instances, like Mike just gave an example, that will expose the home to creditors, and you potentially would lose it or at least have to pay a large amount of money. Do we have? Glenn said thanks. You're welcome, Glenn. I told you I had a good guest. I think we got about 5 more minutes. Mike, what other wisdom would you like to impart?
Thank you very much. You know, the takeaway should be if you need long-term care, don't look on the web. Don't go to DCF and ask them. Know that elder law attorneys can help protect your assets because I can tell you I've had clients, tons of clients, come to me. Well, I was going to apply for Medicaid, but they told me I earned too much money or I had too many assets. And I said, well, who told you that? Well, DCF, I called them directly. Or I called my area agency on aging and they told me that. Let me just say the takeaway should be is if you need long-term care, like this gentleman whose mom is only on rehab for a couple of weeks, we may apply for Medicaid right now, and there'd be some purposes for that. But the takeaway should be is let's go talk to an elder law attorney because this is the time we can plan for her long-term care and hopefully protect some of those assets and prepare for it so that she's eligible. And that should be the takeaway. I can go into a lot of details of what assets are not counted, how to protect them, and we could do that in a conference consultation. But the takeaway is if you have the potential of needing long-term care, either now or in the future because you have Parkinson's or you have Huntington's or you have Lou Gehrig's or you have any types of diseases that can cause dementia, severe dementia, then come see us.
Wait, Mike, are you saying it might be a good idea to consult counsel prior to it being an urgent last minute situation?
Thank you, Brian. That's exactly what I'm saying. You don't know how many people who've been suffering for years or months, and then they come to our office and they think that we can throw the light switch on and all of their pressures are going to go away. And we say, no, it's a 4 to 6 month process. And they just groan.
Yep. Yep. You guys that are on the call or the webinar this morning, I know I'm preaching to the choir because you're at least interested in educating yourselves. So I think one of the big takeaways is, hang on just a second, I'll answer that. Is that getting started early, as in all estate planning, is the key. Okay. So Jamie just asked you, here go my glasses, Mike.
I'm right with you. If I
Yes.
didn't have cataract surgery and new lenses, I'd be right with you.
Yes. And the answer to this question is yes. I'm going to ask Mike to please give his contact info. But if you don't have it, call me. I just referred somebody to him, I think last week or maybe the week before. We, as Mike said, we work together. We have a mutual respect and fan relationship. So if it's his services that somebody that we know needs, we're going to get them to him. But Mike, what's the best way for anybody on this call to contact you?
Thank you so much, John. And if it's not through you, it's our office number. And the name of my firm is called Senior Counsel. Started in 2008. You can find us all over the webpage. Although there is a senior counsel in Georgia, which is a personal injury firm, and we keep getting their checks. You would think that they would. Anyway, senior counsel in 5 Points area of Riverside. And the office number is 904-619-8890. 904-619-8890. And Sienna can take your call. She'll probably send you a questionnaire because that's where we start. So she'll need your email address. But you can also email me. My email address, I'll say it and then I'll spell it, is mjorgensen@seniorcounsellaw.com. And that's MJORGENSEN at SeniorCounsellaw.com.
Awesome. And it, again, if you didn't get it, shoot us a note. We'll be happy to share that with us. Mike and I have been talking through my wonderful assistant, Aubrey, who sets up all of the educational events, about doing a live educational event at some point in time on this subject matter as well, where we would have a little more time. So again, keep your eyes out for that. We'll make sure that everybody that's on the call today who registered for this, if you're not already on our list, we'll get you on the list. We'll make sure you're invited to that, and we'll have some coffee and donuts or something to start our day out when we do that. Fantastic session, Mike. I really, really appreciate. First off, thank you for your service to the Florida Bar and to the people of Florida.